Blessings, peace and blessings. It is your host for Seek No Approval podcast, Shameeka Cottman, and I am here live at the Ocean in Atlantic City, Ocean Resort in Atlantic City, and I am here with Seek No Approval podcast with our second episode, which is entitled "You Are What You Eat." So, before we get into our segment today, I want to first start by saying Happy New Year to everyone. I hope your holidays were safe and that you were able to spend time with your family. And I hope that everyone charges into the new year with New Year's of new attitudes, new fitness goals, and everything that you would like to personally accomplish within your lives or within your businesses or within personal development. I wish you all the best of luck. So now that that's out the way, we do believe here at Seek No Approval Podcast that Mondays belong to the go-getters. So with that being said, I want to start off by taking this opportunity to encourage the viewers here at Seek No Approval Podcast. Just something that I've been thinking about for the past couple of weeks as we were going into the new year and the anticipation of 2024 coming in on the horizon. What I found to be the most pivotal topic again was you are what you eat. What am I talking about? Am I talking about a diet? Am I talking about health and wellness? I'm talking about all of the above. So first we'll start off with health and wellness. So in the new year, a lot of us, especially as women, we have a goal, and that goal 9 times out of 10 is to lose weight. All of us want to look our best. We want to feel our best. We may have poor habits, whether it's snacking or maybe lifestyle, whether it's smoking, etc. These are all things that honestly take away from an overall healthy lifestyle. As an African American woman, I've had some tremendous one and a half, if I'm not mistaken. I've never taken blood pressure medicine prior to that, and it was really, really, really hard for myself to consistently take blood pressure medicine. And anyone who has However, what are we going to do as a community to combat that? We can start first by taking the correct steps as far as eating healthy. So for myself and my fan base, what I did was develop a 30-day Get Back to Me challenge. And in that 30-day challenge, I'm urging all of the young women in our community to put down the snacks. No snacks for 30 days. No bread for 30 days. No soda for 30 days. No juice for 30 days. I know it can be very hard not to indulge in some of those things, but they are not good for you. If you would like to live a long, prosperous life, especially as an entrepreneur, you have to take total control over your overall health and wellness. And it also starts by moving your body. So some of us, sometimes, we get so caught up in our day-to-day routines that we forget our simple routine, which is a morning and a night routine. So I came up with a morning routine that I think that will be very helpful to all of the women in business or thinking about going into business. And that goes like this. So give me a second. And it goes just like this. Give me 1 second. I do apologize. So our morning routine would consist of hold on, give me a second, I don't have my glasses on. Okie dokie. Let me see. Okay. So again, for those who are just tuning in with me, again, I am Shameeka Cottman. I am the host of Seek No Approval podcast. I am here live at the Ocean Resort here in Atlantic City, and today we are talking about overall health and wellness, and our topic today is you are what you eat. So with my morning routine, I get up at about 5 a.m. and I make sure that I make wudu because I am Muslim, so that I can prepare myself for Fajr, which is the first prayer of the day. And after prayer, I take that time to meditate. And in that time of meditation, I like to sit there and ask God for his guidance, for what he would have me to do for that day specifically. I know that I'm nothing that I do personally in my life is for form or fashion, is for passion, is for the love of my community and the love of what I do here in Atlantic City and where I am going to do here in the world. So again, with my morning routine, no business person, businessman or businesswoman lays in a bed at 8 or 9 a.m. They're up at 5, whether they're going over their emails, whether they're going over their to-do list or their checklist for the day. Again, these are things, a list of things that I do to make sure that I am ready for the day. And again, it starts off with prayer, a well-balanced meal. I'm not big on breakfast, so I like a smoothie here and there, or some fruit and some yogurt. Not too much on the yogurt, but again, fruit and vegetables, maybe sometimes for breakfast, raw vegetables. I may do a green drink just to get me pumped up for the day. However, once that's done, it's a quick little 20-minute cardio in the house, maybe some yoga stretching, but nothing past that. And the last and final thing that I do with my morning routine is read. I take 30 minutes and I read either the Quran or I'll read a book, a chapter out of a book, and I start my day. Again, moving forward and being a woman and understanding your role as a woman in your community, whether you are, again, like I said, an entrepreneur, or you're just a woman that works a 9 to 5 today, about 9 to 5, and you are married or you have children. There are so many things throughout your day that can distract you from staying consistent with a routine or staying consistent with being healthy. It's so easy to go and click on your phone and order DoorDash. It's so easy to go to McDonald's and order that number 5 with extra, 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 extra sauce. However, it takes discipline to be able to stick to a specific program. And what I've learned, that whenever I put my mind to something, whenever I put my all into something, I 9 times out of 10 accomplish that goal. So what am I talking about? 13 years ago, I had my first child. And I think prior to pregnancy, I was 165 pounds. Well, once I had my son, I was weighing in at maybe 220 or 230 pounds. Granted, I snapped back. However, throughout those 13 years, I had 2 other children. And this was the first time ever that I was consistently over 200 pounds. So I told myself that for 2024, I wanted to be under 200 pounds. I'm proud of myself because I was able to discipline myself enough to be able to say, hey, you have high blood pressure, you're 34 at the time, years old, you have 3 children and a husband, you have a family, and everyone depends on you. So in order for you to pour from a cup, you have to also make sure that that cup is replenished and that you have everything that you need. So for me, again, like I said, I couldn't start this episode off without first telling you, you are what you eat. Your body is a temple. And you should be very selective as what you choose to digest. Now, that could be figuratively and physically, and figuratively as well. You need to be consistently selective of what you eat. Now, figuratively, that could mean the people you choose to surround yourself with. Are these people feeding your soul? Are they pouring into you? So, going back to New Year, New Me, how we all come into the new year and we're all equally excited about goals and aspirations that we wish to accomplish. In order for us to accomplish those goals and aspirations, we also have to do a spiritual detox. We have to do a spiritual cleanse. We have to feed our soul the good things and respond in a way where we will not subject ourselves to trash. And when I say trash, that means feeding ourselves just anything, rubbish. So if you have idle time throughout your day, and let's say you have an hour of your time where you can take that time to now read a book, or you can pick up a hobby that you wish to pick up, but probably couldn't pick it up because of your day-to-day. Well, choose to do that. Choose to plan. Choose to ignite and empower yourself and others just by the choices that you make for your own specific lifestyles. None of us are perfect. None of us have all the answers. There are a million podcasts out here that are giving out information, resources, and as well as entertainment. But a lot of us neglect to tell people and be transparent with people in a way where they can adapt your core curriculum into their everyday lifestyle. So again, you are what you eat. I want to say that I've cut the fat tremendously in my life. And at first it was something where cutting the fat, hey, I'm losing this person. Hey, I'm losing that person. Hey, this person. To be honest with you, God wouldn't put you in a position where he will leave you astray. And again, getting back to, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. I can't stress that enough. So when you see me, know that I'm eating good. I'm eating healthy, physically and figuratively. I'm feeding myself with knowledge. I'm reaching out to my community leaders. I'm seeing the seniors. I'm talking to children. I'm feeding myself with hope and possibilities for the future, because I know that growing up in Atlantic City, I could have fed myself some things that may have been toxic to my digestive system. Well, what happens when you eat something that's bad for you? Normally, your body rejects it, right? So it's the same thing in life, in the journey. When you come in contact with things that are not for you, naturally, things aren't going to work out. Things are not going to always be cookie cut or be a cookie cut approach. You may have to spend extra time with yourself. And that goes back to our first episode, who am I? You have to take the time to get to know yourself, what your strengths, your weaknesses are, to be able to share with others in a way that they can, again, like I said, apply it to their day-to-day lives. So with that being said, there are a few people in our community who I think that have a total overall approach to the African American community when it comes to overall health and wellness. I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. John Regis. He has been a physician in our community for well over, I want to say 30 plus years. And he is one of the founding fathers of Reliance Medical Center. And he is also the owner of Act On Weight Loss. And he has his own supplements, herbal supplements that will help especially women and men in the African American community combat obesity. And that's something that I think we don't talk about enough in our community, is just different options outside of just taking medicine for help for different ailments. Dr. Regis is a wealth of knowledge. I've learned so much just by simple conversations with him. I remember sharing with him, again, the incident that the health scare that I had about 5 years ago. I nearly almost lost my life. My child almost lost his life. I spent 10 days in ICU. My son at the time, pardon me, spent 12 days in the NICU. It was the first time that I've ever had a C-section, and I didn't know what to expect. And at my third child, it was the first time that I've heard what preeclampsia was. To know that I drove myself to the hospital that day, I will never forget. It was March 17th, 2018. I drove myself to the hospital. I could barely see out of my right eye. I was seeing floaters. And I felt overall bad. I didn't have any energy. I could barely breathe. When I got to the hospital, they immediately asked me for a urine collection. They took my blood work. They came back, my pressure was 198. I'm sorry, it was 190 over 198. The doctor explained to me how sick I was and said, "You have preeclampsia." And then they told me that preeclampsia happens out of 3 out of every 5 women. And I said, wow, that's a high number. Why am I just finding out after having now 2 kids, and this is my 3rd pregnancy? I'm just finding out what preeclampsia is. So it made me want to know more about this illness, and it also made me want to tell other women how to properly prepare for it. So when we're younger, and I want to go back to maybe 13 years ago, like I said, when I had my first child. You know, we have a lot of our ancestors, our seniors who always say, oh, just drink some water, oh, put your feet up, oh, your nose is spreading, oh, your feet are wide. That's supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to retain that much fluid and sodium. So, again, when you go to the doctors, ladies, please, I urge you all to make an appointment for your OBGYNs. At 35 years old, I want to say at least by 35 years old, you should have already had countless annual appointments where you get an exam, a full exam. At 40, you should be getting your breast examined, especially as black men. At 40 years old, you should be getting your prostate exam. And these are specific examinations that I feel as a community that we should be having more pop-up events, health wellness events, because these ailments directly affect and attack our community based off of our diets. So now that we got all of that out the way, we're going to slide to a portion of Seek No Approval podcast where I'm so eager to talk about with you, because everyone always asks me on my Facebook, Shameeka, what you reading? 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 So this year I said, you know what? I'm going to officially launch my book club. So today's challenge, this week's challenge on Seek No Approval podcast is a book challenge. And I am going to talk about a book each week that I'm reading. So this in particular book that I'm reading is called The Way of the Superior Man. The Way of the Superior Man is a challenge that I would like other women and men to read who are on an entrepreneurial journey, who are on a self-discovery journey, who may not know exactly what they want to do in life, or maybe have an idea. So our book club is called Women Who Lead, Read. And with that being said, I will be able to, in future weeks, be able to release segments to you where I'm specifically breaking the book down and talking about it in detail. If you have questions throughout the week, we'll have questionnaires. I'll actually release some audio, because I was able to record some audio of the book, so that you guys can hear it and hopefully apply some of the teachings in your day-to-day lifestyle. Again, the book is called The Way of the Superior Man. So next week on the episode, we'll start to dissect the first chapter of The Way of the Superior Man. Now that that's out the way, the next thing I would like to talk about is community news. So in our community, we have a lot that's going on. I want to give a huge shout out to the city of Atlantic City, in addition to all the proprietors, business owners, community residents who jumped at the call of duty in our last recent outbreak of the boil water mandate. That has since been lifted, but I do want to say I commend Stephen Weiss, Gary, I believe there were a few other businesses, Mr. Naeem Khan, the city of Atlantic City, the fire departments, and all those who provided and donated water to Atlantic City residents and our seniors and checked on them to make sure that they were okay during the recent outage. And it actually made me feel really good to see so many people working together. And I think that's what we are missing in our community, is the sense of love. You know, you don't have to have a title. You don't have to have 7 figures in your bank account just to show you have love for your community, love for your brother and sister, whether they're non-biological, You don't have to be perfect to help. So I want to give a shout out again to Stephen Weiss, Gary, Naeem Khan, also 48 Blocks. They have also been doing some community givebacks. They've been giving out hoodies, giving out food and clothing to those facing homelessness in the Atlantic City and greater Atlantic City area. And I'm totally, like I said, impressed with the outpour of those who are starting to rise and help out, because it's needed, and we are the new ancestors. It's up to us to make sure that we get what we need for the ones that we love the most. So shout out to you guys. In addition to community news, I am going to be talking about the African American Short Course Series. It's going to be held at the Stockton University in Atlantic City on January the 27th. And I'm really excited about this in particular short course because it's been something that I believe Stockton and Miss Diane and Pamela Thomas Fields and some other Stockton alumni have been working on for some time. And this year's theme is about, give me 1 second, I'll pull that up for you, because I want to make sure that I give you the exact information. Okay, so the African American Cultural Heritage Short Course is a celebration of the African American experience in southern New Jersey and the greater Atlantic City area. This event is centered around culture, art, music, and leadership, entrepreneurship, as well as social movement. This year's goal is to transition the event and symbolize a shift in the greater community leadership to a younger audience by engaging intergenerational programming and idea sharing. So the information and schedule is as follows. The 2024 Atlantic African American Heritage Short Course is all new. New presenters, new format, and new workshops will be combined with past favorites. We'll combine the Black Business Expo, a book fair. This year we'll follow a round-robin format, meaning each participant will attend all 4 workshops during the day and rotate in order. For example, Group A will start with track 1, 2, and 3, and 4 in that order, and Group B will start with track 2. At the conclusion of this event, all 4 groups will have rotated completely, participating in all 4 sessions. All participants will simply register for the event on the website and experience all 4 workshops, the keynote speaker, closing reflections, business expo, Black Business Expo, and breakfast and lunch. The program event will start at 8:30 and it will conclude at 4:30. So if you're wondering what the workshops are going to be about, the first workshop is the power of words. And that is an interactive and introspective session that will feature poetry, spoken word, creative writing to help develop one's own voice and express it. The presenter is sponsored by the Noise Arts Garage. Leadership and mentorship is the second workshop. This workshop will teach speed mentoring, networking, how to utilize connections in the community, and reflect on greater importance of connections. Our presenters are expert and known locally through government professionals and community organizers. The third workshop is music and dance, with influences in African dance, hip-hop dance, step dance, cheer dance. This workshop will have you moving along to the music. These presenters both have Atlantic City roots and coach local cheer and dance teams. And last but not least, the last workshop is history and culture. Our interactive panel discussion of community leaders will discuss African American culture and history in today's world. Speakers include community elders, business moguls, and public historians. So if you're interested in registering for this event, please go on to stockton.edu website and register for the African American Heritage Short Course 2024. I am in charge of the History and Cultural Workshop, and in my workshop, I have none other than Mr. Raymond Tyler, Miss Jamelia Lawrence, Miss Amanda Buford. In addition to myself, we will be discussing again the history and culture in our African American heritage. So we look forward to seeing you on January the 27th. Please make sure that you go register for that event, and that is a happening in our community at the Stockton University on January the 27th. So again, we want to give a huge shout out to our community business owners, proprietors, and residents for helping out with the recent outage. Shout out to our other news sources, Breaking AC, for highlighting those individuals who donated countless bottles and cases of water to our seniors and our residents. We appreciate you. Thank you. In addition to that, I also want to talk about in our community that is happening, and I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but if you do not, I want to make sure that you are equipped. So, in 2024, there are going to be some changes in business. So, you will be charged $500 a day as a penalty if you are an entrepreneur who has filed an LLC and have not filled out a specific form that claims yourself as the beneficiary owner. So again, what does that mean? You can be charged $500 a day if you have not claimed ownership of an LLC. You can be charged up to $10,000 as a penalty if you do not fill out this form. So if you're new to business and you do not have, let's say, an accountant or a consultant who can help you with your day-to-day operations, please feel free to contact me, and I'll be able to assist you with your credentials or your documentation so that you won't be penalized. $10,000, that's a lot of money. $500 per day and up to $10,000 if you do not file a beneficiary owner's document to claim your ownership to your LLC. And why do we have to fill this out? We have to fill this out simply because there are some people in the world who have taken the last 3 years and scammed their way to the top, or did some things that they were not supposed to do. So we all have to pay that price by making sure that we claim our LLCs. So if you, again, need help claiming your LLC or filling out that form, please don't hesitate to give me a contact at Cottman Works, and I'll be willing to help you. And again, that's for all the new business people and business owners, because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but again, like I said, that's something that as of January 1st is in full effect. In addition, in community news, and this is worldwide, there have been changes to the SNAP food stamps. There's been changes in the SNAP requirements. So in order for you to receive food stamps going forward, you must have a job. The requirements have changed. I know that we all are experiencing hard times with inflation, food, clothing, housing, rent. So if you are a recipient of food stamps, please check with your local agencies to make sure that you are in good standings, because as of January the 1st, there are new requirements to the food stamp program. Okay? So that concludes community news for now. And again, Let's make sure that we register for the African American Shorts course. That link will be on the Seek No Approval page. It will also be listed on my personal page if you follow me. Please come out and share with, again, like I said, my panelists for the history and culture portion of the workshop. I have Mr. Raymond Tyler, in addition to Jamelia Lawrence, as well as Miss Amanda Buford. And I am eager to sit down with them and talk to them about how we can bridge the gap with the younger generation into today's time through our culture and what we do, through visual performing arts, podcasting, journalism, and etc. And if you're interested in being a part of anything moving forward, we have several panelist discussions that we have set up in our community where we will start to dissect different conversations. Some of the conversations, they might be tough to have. And one that I'm specifically eager to talk about is our youth. Our youth. We are at a pivotal time with our youth right now. And I've noticed, still going within community news, it's been at least 4 homicides, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 8 days since the new year. It saddens me that some of the victims that are underage, and that we have such a huge issue with gun violence in our community and just violence in our community. I pray that this is something that we can tackle as a community, regardless of political affiliations, religious beliefs, that we can sit down and talk as a community and figure out what is it that we need for our youth so that they have a future. I'm tired of burying the youth. I'm tired of attending funerals for youth. And it's never a good thing. Because what do we actually learn from it? I don't think that most of us fully grasp the understanding of what's going on until it directly affects our household. Again, you are what you eat. You are what you consume. So a lot of us, we come from disenfranchised neighborhoods. We have so many social injustice issues around us. There are so many people who without heat, hot water, jobs, housing, you name it. But that still doesn't leave an excuse for unjustifiable behavior or to pull a trigger or end someone else's life. So I believe there are some things that need to be addressed in our community. There are different organizations as well as businesses who have who are taking the charge to make sure that we reduce those numbers. So parents that have teenagers and who have young children, please grab a hold of your children. Please sit them down and talk to them. Please, please, please. Community representatives, community leaders, neighbors, friends, again, continue to take your stances in your communities. Talk to these kids, because you'll be surprised. A lot of them are not disrespectful. A lot of them are very respectful and still have respect for their community and still have respect for their elders. We can't be afraid to approach them. We can't be afraid to talk to them. We can't be afraid to figure out what it is exactly that they need to be fruitful and be successful, because we want them to ultimately have a future here in Atlantic City or here in the world. The next thing, again, is community news, and this will be the last thing, is the ability to, give me 1 second, I want to make sure I hit it. The ability to highlight those in our community that are doing a good job. Now, granted, we can't give everybody a shout out all at once, but there are in particular people in our community who go above and beyond the call of duty. And I just want to give a personal shout out to the Hawks over at WEHA radio station. I just learned that they adopted a school during the Christmas holiday, and that's Mr. Bill and Elaine Hawks over at WEHA. They were able to make so many kids smile during the Christmas holidays, and it was actually good to see. And I hope and wish that in the future that more businesses and residents come forward and continue to adopt schools and adopt families to help provide Kodak smiles for the holidays. So shout out to the Hawks over at WEHA. Shout out to Atlantic City Focus for highlighting them and giving them the what's the word that I'm looking for? Giving them the advertisement to show them what they do in our community. So shout out to the Hawks, shout out to WEHA radio station. So that concludes again community news. We talked about, from the top of the hour, we talked about you are what you eat. We talked about health and wellness. We talked about dieting. We talked about community news. We talked about motivation and empowerment. And I want to end with a question of the day. So this question of the day will be posted at the end of this episode, and that question is, how do you plan to start your new year in 2024? How do you plan to start your new year in 2024? That's the question of the day. And you can answer however you choose to answer, whether you answer in this chat or whether you answer live on Facebook or on the YouTube. Again, we're starting off the new year with our manifestations and our goals. And this brings me to the last thing, the last and final challenge. So I want you to write a letter to yourself. And in this letter to yourself, you're going to date it a year from today. So you're going to date it January the 8th, 2025. And you're going to write this letter as if you've already obtained everything that you've manifested for what you want out of 2024. You're going to seal that envelope, and you will not open it or read it until January the 8th, 2025. I have my letter. Here's my letter to myself, and in this letter, again, I'm manifesting everything that I want for myself and others for 2024, and I will not read this letter again until 2025, January 8th to be exact. So if you are a bookworm like myself, please make sure that you grab The Way of the Superior Man. We will dissect that next week in our next episode. We will have more community news. We'll have some entertainment, and we will be able to revisit with a few of our guests from December. Also, I just want to also say this to our parents. If you are a parent, in December, the numbers for COVID had spiked a bit, and in addition to that, we are noticing that a lot of children are becoming sick with RSV. RSV is a respiratory virus that is pretty much a common cold for us as adults, but it's very harsh on our little ones. So if your children are sick or are experiencing congestion in the chest, please make sure that you make an appointment and get them tested for RSV or the influenza, flu, and COVID, because we're seeing a rise in those numbers, and we want to make sure that we not only protect ourselves, but that we look out for our seniors as well as our youth, because something that may just be a simple common cold to us may be a big deal if our children are around our elders and they contact those symptoms. So I appreciate you guys for sitting with me. It's been 44 minutes and 52 seconds. And just understand, we are all that we have. We are all that we got. And that it's up to us to enlighten, educate each other on what we need in our community. And the last and final thing before I go, I want to give a huge shout out to a young man. One second. A young man who is a new entrepreneur. His name is Najim. He's a holistic skincare and hygienist. He provides ocean rain butter, ocean rain mist, grapeseed body oil, black seed toothpaste, and Irish sea moss. He manufactures, wholesales, and does consulting from South Jersey to New Jersey. He can be found at the plaza right in front of the barbershop next to Kelsey and Kim's in the inlet, and he has a whole display of shea butters. This is his, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. He gave me some things to try, and I also made a purchase, and he makes all of this himself. That's a seashell from our beach, and that's some scented shea butter. This is body and hair oil, and it's grapeseed. This is a Zen Mist. It's an all-purpose body and hair spray as well. And this is Shea powder, which is essential black seed, and it's roll-on. I'm not sure if you can guys see that. So for all of my health enthusiasts that are taking overall control over their health and wellness, you want to go see my good brother over there at the shopping plaza located near the Kelsey and Kim's uptown, and go see my brother Najim, where he will provide you with all the holistic things that you guys need. And I remember, who can remember these from back in the day? I used to see my dad and my brothers always chewing on these, and I didn't know what it was at first. But when I did my research on these wooded sticks, this is how, if you chewed this is how we brushed our teeth back then. So again, go see my brother Najim, check him out, and I'll be sure to have him on the podcast in the future, so he can start to talk about his products and talk about why he chose to get into holistic treatment. He has an interesting story, and he shared with me that he decided to come to this town simply because he had a father who had passed away, and his calling was holistic skincare and hygiene. So shout out to Najim and Holistic Skincare. That's the name of his business. Thank you so much. I'll be sure to try these products, and I'll let you know how they are. And anyone who's looking for promotion or looking for a review, I try not to get into reviewing products simply because I like to organically and authentically try things at my leisure. I don't want to be forced into trying something, because if you don't like my review, I don't want it to be seen that it's biased because you paid for promotion. So no, I did not pay for this promotion. No, he did not pay. No, I did not pay for this product. And no, he did not pay for promotion. However, I do believe that we are all we have, and word of mouth still works. So I just would like to encourage him and other men and women in our community that if you have an idea, if you have a business plan, put it in motion. You'll thank yourself in the future for following your dreams. So I applaud him because, again, he was explaining to me earlier today that, hey, I had this dream, and my boys thought that it wasn't as cool, or, etc. But, I'm glad that I did it because I love it. And that's ultimately what I think people nowadays want. They want authenticity. People don't want to be sold anything. They're going to buy whatever they want to buy. But people want the story. And so again, I will make sure that he will be here at a later date so that he can discuss this product in full. And before I close out this episode, we're at 49 minutes, 50 minutes exact. I want to give a huge shout out, and I want to also end with a brief moment of silence for my Wally Bentley, aka Wally Abdullah. He passed this December, I believe, the 13th. He was a pillar in our community, a community leader, and he will be forever missed. And I would like to take this time to honor him, specifically for being my Wali, my godfather, and holding down the fort for us in so many different capacities. We love you, and we're always thinking of you. And again, to any other family members who've lost anybody throughout the holiday season, you are in our thoughts and prayers. Please take the time with grief to be able to feel through those feels, because again, that's something again that we don't talk about in our community is grief, counseling, and how to process those emotions. We go through so many emotions when we lose someone. So shout out to Uncle Wally, and if you guys do not mind, I just want to take about 10 seconds and offer a moment of silence for him, and starting now. Thank you so much. And that concludes our episode of Seek No Approval podcast. I thank you so much for tuning in with me, Shameeka Cottman, your host. And shout out to our family over at Atlantic City Focus. Shout out to Mark Tyler and the gang. We look forward to continuous work with you in our community. Please make sure that you check out Raymond Tyler's Civic Engagement, and also check out Mr. Mark Tyler's Weekend Guide. He always has a weekend guide with all the happenings that are happening in our community and vicinity. If you need somewhere to go, or if you don't know what's going on, please make sure you tap in and tune in. Again, Atlantic City Focus is a new source of resource of news in our community, and it's there for us, specifically for us. And we are happy to be a part of the family in the fold at Atlantic City Focus. So shout out to you guys for sitting here and listening and being a part of my podcast. Today, the episode was You Are What You Eat. Be careful what you consume. Be careful what you read. Be careful what you eat. Be careful what you view. Because everything that you ingest, you have to digest. And all the things that are not for you will naturally rid themselves. They will naturally rid themselves. So stay on the straight and narrow. And always remember that a closed door is not an end result. I'm your host. Thanks for tuning in with me. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.